All right, so if you can see my screen okay, it says Dr. Key's data mining package. And if you can hear me okay, uh, please type a 7. Sound could be louder, or let me know. I just moved a little bit closer to the mic, so hopefully you can hear me okay. Excellent. Okay, well, with that, folks, so today is, I do quite a few presentations, and today's definitely the one I like talking about the most, probably because data mining is something that I've been doing for years, and it still, to me, is incredible. The amount of people that do not use data to really help make decisions that are super powerful. And so today, again, if you've never heard of it, or everyone calls it maybe a little bit different, I like to call it data mining because that's actually what I do when I'm looking for opportunities. Technology has allowed us to look for high probability opportunities. So we're going to talk about that today. And before we get started again, just make sure that at any point, if you're learning to trade or want to trade, talk to your financial advisor. You should never risk more money than you can afford to lose for a lot of reasons. To me, the main reason is, other than you don't want to have to talk to your husband or wife about it, which we've all probably been there if we traded long enough. But main reason is because the psychology as well is different if you're trading because you have to versus, and again, if you're not experienced at it, psychology wise, that can be really tough. So anyway, I just like to bring that up and make sure you're aware of that. Today's presentation is for educational purposes. And today's focus is on my data mining package. My data mining package, and we're going to focus on stocks, but I also have packages for futures and for Forex. Most of you are stock traders. That's why I dedicated today's time for stock traders. But again, I use all three of my packages. So when we're talking about data mining, first off, so I see a lot of familiar faces. I know a lot of you have this, and a lot of you are very familiar with it, which is fantastic. But a lot of you may not even know what that means. Data mining, what is this? And so what I like to say is really the probability of an underlying. So let's say a probability of a stock. Okay, let's just say Apple. Okay, you've all heard of Apple. Going in a certain direction during a certain time frame. And it's amazing that when you start to research and analyze certain stocks, especially the ones that have been around for a long time, there's patterns of buying and selling. Again, we're going to focus a lot today on buying, but there's a lot of selling as well that goes on throughout the year of certain stocks. And so if you know those probabilities and you can see them in advance, you're going to have a much higher likelihood of making money. Okay. And that's really why you're all here, is as much as you love to hear my voice, I'm sure you're also saying, well, again, how am I going to be able to make money this year? Right. And so I like to think of it as also, you're like, well, why is he have in the middle of his slide, do you brush your teeth every morning? Right. That's silly. But again, the reason I like to put that in the slide is one of the reasons why data mining and having high probability opportunities happen throughout the year is because who moves the markets? Is it a retailer trader's $5,000 account, or is it a institution's billion-dollar accounts out there, right? Those big institutions, they're the ones that move markets. And they buy and sell by routines periodically throughout the year. Some are incredible opportunities. And so as I show you some opportunities, the good news with today is if you don't have the package and you don't want it, or you can't afford it, or whatever the case is, but I'm still going to give you some pretty good opportunities you can write down and look for, as the year goes on. Okay. So, so the reason I put, do you brush your teeth every morning on this slide is institutions do. Okay. Meaning They have routines that they know, hey, we start getting into March, here's certain stocks we're going to start buying. And they can't do what a lot of us do, right? They can't say, okay, I'm just going to buy, bazillion shares of something immediately, right? They do it over a time frame, over days, weeks, months, depending on how big the institution, how many shares they want to purchase, right? So when they do that, we just get along for the ride. That's really what happens. We go along for that ride. So why does it work? We really don't care. We just want to follow that big money. And you've all probably watched events with certain indicators and so forth about following the big money. And to me, the real big money is in the actual data mining, because again, I'm going to show you some examples here in just a minute or two on stocks that have gone higher during a certain time frame with over 90% probabilities, 95% probabilities, and even 100% probability from the past. So if you keep those and watch out for those during certain times of the year, you're giving yourself a much better opportunity to make money. Okay. And again, nothing's guaranteed. It does not mean this year, or this particular one coming up, for example, that we'll talk about is going to work this year. And you don't know that. But what it tells you is, well, gosh, it's worked out 90% of the time. I really like this potential opportunity. And then you can use your own trigger system, if you don't have mine, on, okay, here's the window of time. I'm just waiting for an oscillator to give me an entry to get in. Some will go in right off the dates when they're over 30 years of data with 90% probabilities, because they're like, hey, you know what, there's not much better odds than that. So there's a lot of ways to play this, I'm going to go and walk you through that today. So just as an example, those of you that, you look at the S&P, right? A lot of traders, just generally speaking, will look at the S&P, which could be in the futures, the ES, right? It could be the SPY, the SPX. And again, I get asked this a lot. Well, Dr. Keith, what is the bullish time of the year in the markets typically? And so when I mine for that, when I look for those opportunities, I was looking for a 3-month opportunity here. You look at October 26th till January 16th, and you look at the S&P, it's gone higher in price 52 out of those 61 years. So that's a pretty good opportunity, in my opinion, if you're looking for long plays in the market, right around that Halloween time through the end of the year is usually a pretty good opportunity, right? I mean, this data doesn't lie. It tells you the S&P has gone higher out of 61 years, all year, all of those years has gone higher except for 9 of those. Again, those are pretty good odds to have an overall bias, wouldn't you think? So to me, that's incredible data, big picture, just to even know. Okay. So let me give you an example. This is one of my examples for stocks for bulls. Okay. Stocks for bulls. Let me grab that different color. Okay. And what I'm showing you is basically the product itself, for those of you who don't have it, is it's like an Excel sheet. And what it does is it has tabs here. You see these tabs, or these drop downs? So you can then sort and digest the data any way you want. Okay, I'm going to show you how I do it, but there's a certain way that I digest the material. So for example, you can sort by date, you can sort by percent wins, by average profit, by number of years. Okay, and I sorted here by number of years just to show you. Look at some of these probabilities. So this is 52 years here of data. Okay. 81 to 85% probability that, actual percentage of wins, right? 43, 42, 44 out of those 52 years, the stock has gone higher. So, again, as a general thing, if you look at Marathon, if you entered on March 24th, okay? So enter on March 24th and you exit May 12th, just from a pure data mining perspective. You've made money 44 years in a row. I'm sorry, not 44 years out of the 52, right? So you've made money 44 out of the 52 years. It's gone higher from the stock itself. And it does give you the percentage, an average of a 10% profit. Okay, and that's on the stock. Okay, we're not talking options. Yes, of course you can do an option play based off of these probabilities, but I'm just talking a 10% move on the stock. Okay, and you're staying in that trade for the 50 days, which is from 324 to 512. Now again, so just by going off of those key dates, entering on March 24th, exiting on May 12th, okay, that's going to build your account up. It's made money 44 out of 52 years. Okay. Now, in most cases, I don't do that. I wait for triggers within this window or close to the window. You know, if I got a trigger on, you know, on March 19th, for example, I wouldn't say, well, it's not the 24th yet. Okay. So there's two ways of doing it, going right off of the dates and or waiting for your triggers off. Again, maybe your oscillator that you like or something, or I use Hakanachi as well. And I'll show you how I do it, but just to kind of get you thinking there. Okay. Now I have some traders, some clients that when it's over 30 years of data, over 90%, they just go in off the dates. They're like, you know what, it's good enough for me. You know, I mean, it's gone higher 9 out of 10 times, or in this case, 40 out of 50 or 45 out of 50. You know, I'm okay with that. Others like triggers. Okay. So how I use this, I like to sort by the stock or by the date or by number of years. You can sort by win percentage. What a lot of folks do is they'll grab the trades coming up, let's say for March, and they'll do the sorting in the sheet. And I'll walk you through how I do that. And then they say, okay, these 20 all have, you know, you can go as low as 80%, which is funny, right? 80% is still a great opportunity, but you don't have to, right? I have many traders that have this that only look at 90% or greater because they can, right? But anyway, so they just say, okay, for March, I'm grabbing all the 90% and higher that have at least a 8% move expected based on what it's done in the past. They put it on their watch list, and then they just, when they get a trigger, yes, Billy, this will be recorded. It is being recorded. Once they get a trigger, then what are they doing, right? They're going in knowing with high probability it could work out for them. And that's really what it's all about, is hitting those probabilities during these windows of opportunity where these institutions are brushing their teeth. Okay. So let's go to charts. Everyone knows I'm a chart person. So let me exit out of here for just a second and go to live charts. Okay. So first and foremost, can you see my Thinkorswim charts right now? Type in a 7 if you can. Want to make sure I'm sharing the screen and I wasn't sharing just the background there. Okay, great. All right, so I just wanted to bring in some examples here to show you, again, how I look at this. And then I'll also bring over some of my data mining packages to show you, literally how you can manipulate it in the Excel. Okay, it's very easy. You do not have to be an expert at Excel. Okay, so I put a watch list here, and these right here are going to be greater than 20 days trades. And then these over here will do second or less than 20-day trades. Okay. The package that I have, the data mining package that I have with the bulls, okay, which is the long plays, have two tabs. At the bottom of the sheet, they'll have two tabs. One is greater than 20 days, and then one is less than 20. Okay, so DJX, I just put some notes in here so I can remember. So if you entered on March 3rd and exited on April 29th, it's made money 25 out of 25 years, okay? So 3.3 to 4.25, it's gone higher 25 out of 25 years. Pretty incredible, right? So let's look back just to show you. So last year, we're in March here. There's a trigger here on March. Let's call it March 2nd. I don't know exactly what it was. Let me see. Let me give yellow will probably show up better there. So March 2nd, here is the trigger off of the Laguerre. Or if you're waiting for, again, if you have my, if you have my, indicators, you could go off the Laguerre trigger. You could go off the cloud change to green. You go off the first green Hackenacci dot, or any of your oscillators. Okay. So again, if you don't have any of my trading systems, you can use an RSI, you could use a MACD. You're just looking for that trigger, or you can go right off of the dates, right? I prefer not to personally. I don't like to catch a falling knife, meaning as it's heading down, if I'm not getting a trigger, I don't like to get in. Okay. I wait for that trigger. Okay. But there was a nice move last year, which again should not surprise you, because on the spreadsheet, it's made money 25 out of 25 years. Okay. Does that mean it's going to be 26 out of 26 this year? Because remember, so I gave you this opportunity to look at, right? We're coming up to March soon, aren't we? And so you can see it's been a massive downtrend here on DGX. So what am I looking for? So when we get into March, okay, whenever that happens, I won't go in early because of this downtrend. But in March, if and when we get a Laguerre trigger or any of your oscillators, okay, I'm going to go in because it's worked out 25 out of 25 years. I'm okay with those odds. Does it mean it's going to be 26 out of 26? Well, we'll find out, right? We'll find out. You guys and gals can all email me in March, April, and let me know how you're doing on that, okay? But the data is the data. So I am expecting a nice run up on DJX, okay? All right, let's look at Celanese Corp. So this has gone higher, what was that? I did a typo there. I think it was 3.3. I think it was March 3rd to April 22nd, 16 out of 16 years. Okay. So not as many years, but still 16 out of 16. So again, what that means is when we get into March, same thing, right? I do, by the way, on a chart perspective, like this support here. But in March, when we get that trigger long, okay, that'll be one of my long plays, okay? Knowing that this has worked out 15 out of 15 does not guarantee that year 16 is going to work out, does it? But what it does tell you is, for whatever reason, which we know why, institutions buy Celanese Corporation starting in March, okay? All right, let's look at Southern. A lot of you have heard of Southern. It's a great stock to trade. If you went long 8/29 on August 29th and you exited on October 31st, it's made money 37 out of 39 years. Okay, so again, just think about that for a minute. So if you went long on 8/29 and you exited on 10/31, 37 out of 39 years, that's 95%, folks, price has gone higher, okay? So again, if you have that information ahead of time, which all of you do now, right? When you get into August, way up here in August, you're looking for long plays. Let's look at this past August. Let's see here. So right here is August 2nd. Okay, so we had a trigger early in July, wouldn't have taken that, right? So but look at that move up. Okay, so how do you take that? Well, when it goes, depending on your oscillators, or if you're trying to you can go off smaller time frames in an aggressive trend. You can go in off the Hackenacci. So once Hackenacci turned back to green and the cloud here turned green, that's your entry. But the bottom line is this should not be a surprise to you. So however you want to enter the trade, okay, I know a lot of you have my entire systems, and of course you're going in off either the Laguerre, or in this case, because it triggered after you're getting off a 4 hour when you hit August. Okay, the other entry would have been right here, But the bottom line is you're going to hit these type of moves, right? You're going to hit these type of moves. Brown-Forman, again, one of my favorite stocks to trade. March 14th to June 6th, gone higher 32 out of 34 years. Okay. So again, March is coming, right? That's why I did a lot of these with March coming up so that you can all watch these on your watch list, right? Again, what I love about this, there's a lot of support here, but regardless, when we get into March, you know, I'm going to look for that long play. I'm going to look for that long play, right? Let's see. Let me go back into March here. So last year, either had a trigger here or here for that move. But this is the part right here that should not be surprising to you, okay? Because it works year in and year out. These are institutions brushing their teeth. Deere, another one of my favorite stocks to trade. So if you look at Deere, late October through to the end of the year. So 1027 and 16, 36 out of 39 years. Okay, so again, all that means, folks, is as you get closer to October, right? You get closer to October. So where's October? Right here is October, roughly. Okay, this move up was very expected. Okay, very expected. This move right here. And it's through the end of the year, right? So if you're doing a longer term play, you know, you're over here. But no matter what your strategy is, get in, make a percentage, get out, you know, with high likelihood, when you get a trigger, that Deere goes higher during that time frame. Make sense? I'm going to give you one more example on the greater than 20 days. Okay, so greater than 20 days, February 10th to May 8th. Look at this, folks. Marathon Oil, 45 out of 52 years, so almost 90%. So out of 52 years, right, only 7 years during February 10th to May 8th, it hasn't gone higher. Again, I'll take those odds. Okay? So, you know, obviously this year, where's the trigger? Well, the first trigger would have been right here. Okay, but the odds are now this is going to continue higher. So what I'd be waiting for at this point, get a pullback, go in again, right? But it's gone higher year after year with incredible accuracy. So when you're looking at opportunities like that, you're just giving yourself a much better opportunity to be successful because the odds are in your favor, right? You know, back in the days, brokers would be calling up individuals with tips, right? Hey, I heard this stock's gonna go higher. I mean, what if I called you up and said, you know, hey, 20 out of 20 years, this stock's gone higher as of today. Do you want to get in? Right? You're all going to probably be raising your hand there. And that's what this data gives you right in front of you. Yeah, so I'll put it in there. I mean, we're going to talk more about it here in a little bit. Okay, the link, if you want to purchase that, I'll put it in a little bit. All right, so that was just obviously a small snapshot. There's hundreds of these opportunities throughout the year. What I want to show you now, for those of you that like shorter term trades, again, this list here I just created is less than 20 days. Okay. And again, the list is much larger. My data mining, I just want to give you some samples. So Dollar Tree, 311 to 46, 17 out of 17 years. Think about that, right? 311 to 46, 17 out of 17 years. So keep an eye on it, right? Keep an eye on it this March during those time frames. It's coming up, right? Yeah, that's 311 to 46. So let's take a look at March of last year. March 11th was right here. That's the move right there. Okay. So again, why does that happen? Right? What is the reason year over year this goes higher during that short window? Does it really matter? I mean, the data is the data, right? I know you engineers need to know why though. But it just does, right? It just does. Institutions are buying. IEX 111, I'm sorry, 1111 to 12.8. So again, I'm going to write this again for you. This is incredible. You got in on 1111 and you exited on 12.8. Price have gone higher 31 out of 32 years. Okay. I mean, this is unbelievable, right? 1111 to 12.8. What we are doing is during this time frame, you're finding your opportunities. Certainly, if you get in, you do an option play, or you get in, you buy the stock, or you get in and you day trade during some of those, smaller time frames, there's a hesitancy it's going to go higher. Okay, that's why originally when I launched this a few years ago, I only did greater than 20. I had a lot of requests. Well, hey, is there shorter term seasonality? Absolutely, there is, and you can take advantage of it. AON is another one. January 25th to March 13th, 34 out of 37 years. So again, 34 out of 37 years, AON's gone higher between 125 and 213. Well, what about this year? 125 right here. Right there. Okay. So now that's going to be another year added to that move. It's crazy, right? So why is that? Why does that go higher during this time frame? Right? Institutions, for whatever reason. Incredible. Amazon. So Amazon has a nice shorter term trade. April 15th to the 25th, 22 out of 24 years. So, Amazon, when you get into those dates in April, right, that's a really good time, probably, if you're looking to buy Amazon, to start buying it, right? Because again, it's gone higher 22 out of 24 years between April 15th and April 25th. Okay, so you just know during this window right here, it goes higher with high probabilities, extremely high probabilities. Parker Hannifin, from 1027 to 1150 to 1115, 33 out of 36 years. So again, I hope you're all understanding that. 33 out of 36 years. From 1027 to 1115, it's gone higher every year but 3. Every year but 3. This is this past year. Okay. So a lot of you are thinking, well, wait a minute. How does earnings affect some of these? Absolutely, they can. See that earnings right here? So there's going to be some risk there. But what does that tell you? Does anybody have any idea on this short-term Parker Hannifin trade, which is again an earning during an earnings? What does that tell you? It tells you historically during this earnings play, right? There's earnings 4 times a year. It tells you that they typically are very conservative on their earnings because price typically jumps. Okay. Absolutely, that means that. Does it mean next year that this earnings declaration is guaranteed you're going to make money? Of course not. Of course not. But 33 out of 36 years has gone higher. Okay. I know I keep repeating myself. I get fired up on this stuff because anybody everybody needs to have this data, in my opinion. Okay. So now let me show you something here. I'm doing a little bit different from my other. If you go to my YouTube, you'll see some of my past data mining. What I wanted to do a little bit differently here is literally show you how I do that. Okay, so I'm just going to bring on my screen here, the Bulls data mining, and what I did here, folks, is I got March. Okay, so I put March in here, and let me show you what I mean by that. So when you get it and you click on this, you have these little drop downs. Okay, so you can have every month here and then sort, or you can do it by month. I just clicked March. Okay, so you just click March. Then it's only going to show you March here. Then I'm going to say, okay, how do I want to, what is the next way for me to digest this data? Percent wins maybe is very important to you. So, and by the way, this is the greater than 20 tab. There's also a less than 20. See the two tabs? So this is the greater than 20 day. You're like, okay, Quest Diagnostics. Okay. From 3.3 to 4.29, it's made money every time. Average of 10%. Again, 25 out of 25 years. Okay, so again, even if you don't buy this today, write that down. Write that down. Okay. But you get to determine then what's important to you. It may be average percentage. So you may say largest to smallest. You may sort here by, you know what, I only want to know 90% and greater. You know, forget these 80%, 85. I want 90%. So now it's giving you 90% of trades. Then you can say, okay, I want to know with the most years, 90%. So you see how quickly I got that, where PEG now, from 3/13 to June, so March till the start of June, it's gone higher 91% of the time, 38 out of 42 years. Crazy, right? You can manipulate it any way you want here to get what you're looking for. Then down here, so down here, I'm clicking on the less than 20. And I did a sort for you too, where I said, okay, give me some March that's less than 20. Now I can say, okay, so I did 89% or greater. And then you can then resort by largest. So digital realty, DLR. If you entered on 3/11 and exited on April 6th, it's made a 5%, which is the lowest amount I allow on this is 5% profit. But even then, you know, if you do option plays, that's usually 5 to 10 times the amount. And then 17 out of 17 years. But look at some of these, you know, 24 out of 22 years, 6% profit during a 29-day window on Yum. Okay. So that's how I do it, folks. And then what you can do is, so when you get into March, you can then, you know, just keep an eye on this. I mean, it's certainly worth your time to do that, right? Or the other thing is you can literally then create a watch list like I did here, as I was showing you. Oops, sorry about that. You create a watch list of in column, you know, March data mining, April, and so forth. And then, you know, when you get your triggers or the ones in March coming up, you really want to keep an eye on those high probability opportunities, right? Does that make sense? That's how I do it. Okay, that's how I do it. All right, let me bring up the PowerPoints again. All right, so right now, the special that I'm running for everybody, it's an amazing special, and I'm going to put it in the chat here. You also, it'll be recorded and sent out later, okay? But you should be able to click on that within the chat. And so basically, if you get the bears, you're gonna get the bull. I'm sorry, you get the bulls, you're gonna get the bears as well, part of that package. Okay, so you're not only getting a discount on the bulls for $9.99, but you're getting the bears as well. And 2 years of updates is part of this package. Okay, is part of this package. And it's incredible opportunity for you. What questions do you have? So let me first go. I update this every year. You're going to get 2 years of updates with no extra charge. And I'll keep it on this slide in case you have questions. But what questions do you have, folks, that you want me to answer on the data mining? Again, I wanted to keep this short. You can go back and watch previous data mining recordings on my YouTube, but I did it differently this year where I wanted to actually show you how you can manipulate the spreadsheet. Again, this is the #1 tool I use to grow my account year over year. So Bill, they're updated every January. Yep. Every January. Okay, so then you can roll out your trades for the, for the year. Yep. What other questions? Anything else? Or are you guys going to be really easy today? So again, just when you look at some of these opportunities, it never ceases to amaze me. I mean, again, why would deer go higher 36 out of 39 years during, basically November, December, right? Well, that's what it does. For whatever reason, it just does. And just knowing that, hopefully that'll help you regardless going into November this year on deer, right? So Sybil says, I don't know, Sybil. I've actually, I've never seen Rob's or Jake's information, so no idea. I mean, I know a lot of folks are mining. I'm not sure because I don't have their, I didn't know they even had packages if they do, but I'm not sure. So I don't know. Good question. Yep. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, folks, again, when I send the recording, I also put the purchase link in there. But again, it's just seasonaltraderpro.com/data/mining. So here, I'll put that in there as well. So you have that. Let's see here. Let me bring up that PowerPoint again. Right here. You didn't get the link? Link is not a link in the chat. Oh, it's not a link. Let me see. Let me grab it from my computer. Bear with me. Sorry about that. All right, now try it. I just put it back in there again. I tested it just now and it seems to be working. So I might have had a bad one in there. Okay. Can the years over which data ID collected be changed? So yeah, so for example, let me bring over a snapshot. Okay. So Marathon Oil, as we mentioned, right, it's gone higher 44 out of 52 years during this date. When I remine over the holiday, Christmas holiday and so forth, things can be tweaked based on the percentage. Absolutely, things can be minorly tweaked. Yeah, obviously the stats will be updated, but then if there's a window that's mildly changing, then that will be updated as well. Great question. Great question. You can sort multiple columns at once. Yep, absolutely. That's exactly what I do, Don. So, when I bring up a mining, let me bring it up and show you here. Bear with me. I'm just grabbing it again. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. I got to grab it from my background here. Bear with me. There it is. Okay. Now I can reshare. So let me reshare this. Okay. So for example, what you can do is you can say, okay, I want January and February. It's going to list them. And I want percent wins. I want them all. And then I want number of years. I only want if it has number of years, let's say 50, greater than 34. Yeah, I'm just showing this to sort it, right? You can put whatever you want. Okay. And there you have it, right? Then once you're there, you do the same thing. So, okay, so now, give me my largest or smallest average profit, right? You just keep clicking on these. So you can absolutely tailor the list to what you're exactly looking for. Absolutely, because everyone's a little bit different what they're looking for. Yep. Great question, Donald. All right, did that link work okay for you, Douglas? Just want to make sure it was working. And what I'm going to do, folks, is probably in about 4 weeks, those of you that purchase, I'm going to have a follow-up session, and that includes the ones I've already purchased it, where we'll go in and talk about a little bit more advanced functionality with the seasonal, and again, some other ways to play that. But I wanted to get it out there as a lot of you are always wondering, what are the big moves coming? And this is certainly a valuable product. If I only had one product, this would be it. So, all right, folks. Well, if you have any questions, again, let me bring up my last slide there. You can always, this is my cell phone, folks. Text me, call me. If I don't answer, because I'm on the phone or doing something, I will text you or call you back. Don't worry. This is also the YouTube channel. Let me put my YouTube channel in the chat box as well. And then if you don't have my weekly web register link, it's a free webinar I do every other Wednesday. There's the link to that as well. But again, keep in touch if you have any questions, folks, and hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the future. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.